Hello, everybody. This is Marvel Matt from the Comic Time Show. This is a show put on by Toylab Productions. This is our very first show. I'm excited to be here today to talk about Iron Fist, the Netflix show. Not the comic book, the Netflix show. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to talk about this thing. I really liked it. And when I first sat down to watch this thing, I'm not like a special person. I don't have like a press pass or anything like that. Even though I have a pretty big website, I still don't get like the special treatment or anything like that. And I sat down to watch it with a couple other bloggers from my site, and we were all, I would say, like, not terrified, but very like worried that this show was going to suck. And we were worried it was going to suck because the reviews from the critics were terrible. I think, at one point, Rotten Tomatoes, the critics had it like, there was like 0%, 0% fresh rating. I think it finally climbed up to like 14%. Metacritic, I think, had it like a 14%. I mean, you're talking terrible. This thing is going to be a dog turd. But the reality is the show is not that bad. It's good. Is it the best movie? Is it perfect? No. But it's definitely not that bad. It has been drugged down due to the controversies surrounding the ethnicity of the lead actor of Iron Fist. So the lead actor of Iron Fist is a white guy named Finn Jones, and he plays a character in the comics that was portrayed as white. But people don't like it because the character does martial arts, and to them that means that they therefore must be Asian. I've gone both ways on that issue, and I've written a lot about it extensively. I don't want to talk about it right now. I just want to review it. But if you want me to talk about it, I could probably write a novel about the history of Asian characters in comics, and particularly at Marvel, and why they kind of are lame. But I'm not going to do that here. If you want that video, tell me in the comment section, and I will definitely tackle that. But let's get into it. I liked this show. I would give it an 8 out of 10. Some of my friends and other bloggers would say, hey, 7 out of 10. Okay, that's fine. But I would say it's in that range. You're talking like, you want to say it's a 7.5 show? Yeah, it's a show that's worth watching. And the fact that it's attached to these other great shows, a part of the Defenders and Marvel Universe, just to me makes it must watch. I can't not watch it. And I was happy that it was good. The things I liked. I'm going to say 5 things that I really liked about the show. Generally, I liked Finn Jones. As controversial as he was, I thought he was a good Danny Rand. I liked Harold Meacham, the main villain. I did not think I was going to like Harold Meacham, the villain. I did like him. I liked the fight scenes. I liked the hand and how they added a layer of mystery and added complication of what the heck is this group? And I also loved Colleen Wing and how she was portrayed. That she was just awesome in this. The flaws in this. Okay, the two of the big things here that were flaws. I'm just going to name them all. Music, the sets, no hallway scene, no costume, and then the growth at the end of the Iron Fist character. So those 5 things were flaws to me. The music and the sets. Coming from Luke Cage, where the ambiance of Harlem and the culture was all right there and was so like tied in and tethered to his character, was just awesome. That was one of the best parts of the Luke Cage show. And part of it is that Iron Fist he's an outsider. He doesn't really have a place in this world. He's been raised on another dimension. And so, what music does that sound like? And he's an outsider in that dimension too, because he comes from our world. So that never like vibes in the same way as it did in Luke Cage, and really even in Daredevil or Jessica Jones, there was just a lot more vibing with the overall ambiance and sets and things in those series. It just worked a little bit better. And in particular, there was one set that when he goes to China, I don't think this is a major spoiler. At one point, Iron Fist will go to China. And at that point, I just thought, man, the sets in that area, I mean, that those scenes are so cool. That episode where he does that is so cool, but it could have been so much better if the setting was a little bit more cool. And that was really just lacking. And then the other big thing is just there's no hallway scene. Iron Fist should have the very best action scene. And his action scenes were good. I liked them. I spelled it out as a plus of the series. It is a plus of the series. There's some great action scenes, but there's nothing like Daredevil's hallway scene that was just experimental and off the charts. And I think it needed it. And it needed something that, for some people to say, whoa, there's this scene in episode whatever, and it's crazy, and you have to see it. It doesn't quite have that. It has some really good scenes, but I don't know if it has anything that quite is like that. No costume. I think, once again, Iron Fist, especially toward the end, just needed a little something extra, and it could have gotten its extra oomph from the costume, and it didn't. And my last part was just the growth of the character. You really feel like at the end of the series, the Iron Fist is almost more confused than when he came into the series, and I think it would have been better if he kind of really grew as a character. So those are the flaws. Those are the flaws in the series, and a lot of it, to be honest with you, has to do with the Iron Fist character himself. Like, the first two things I don't think he can help. He's an outsider, so he doesn't have good music, in the budget and stuff. But I also just think, yeah, it also has to do with the series is being wedged between the Daredevil series. It has a little bit of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, and it's also has to go into the Defenders. It really is this wedged in series, and it has to tie it and tether it all together. And I think it does that, but because of that, there were some restraints on it. And I think my one wish of this series is that it really got into the Fraction Mortal Weapons series stories, and it touches a little. It has a little characters kind of show up here there, but not in a real way does it tackle that stuff. And I think the reason is because it's kind of tied into doing something else for this overarching story. So it wasn't able to go there, and that's where I think a lot of Iron Fist fans like myself really wanted it to go, and it can't go there because it has this other duty to fill. So overall, I really liked it. Just to touch on a couple other things, like, I think a lot of people are criticizing, man, like, this Danny Rand character is a dope, or why is he so weird? I think you have to understand that Danny Rand has, like, these childlike qualities because he is raised in such a weird way. He's not like, people say, he's like Bruce Wayne. He's not like Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne didn't get raised in a monastery for 15 years of his life. Yes, his parents died, but then his life after that's dramatically different. And because of he's been raised in this monastery, he's basically become really, really good at martial arts. And really good at meditating. But not so good at, like, dealing with people lying to him. And he's naive like that. And the ways of our real world are foreign to him. And I think, Finn Jones did a good job of kind of portraying this. And, he's good at meditating, but all of a sudden he's dealing with some really emotional stuff that he hasn't had to deal with in that monastery. Where everybody's just meditating. And all of a sudden people are really poking him. They're betraying him. He hasn't had to deal with it. And he doesn't necessarily have the coping tools and mechanisms that normal people develop over that period of time. And I thought that was portrayed pretty well. I would like I said, I would like to see him kind of grow more. I would have liked to see him use that fist more. And I think that would have been made a lot better. That said, it was a really good show. I really liked it. I definitely want to talk more about it. I think I'll do another show perhaps on the Easter eggs, and I want to talk a lot about the Hand and how they are portrayed in this. I think there's some really interesting stuff there to talk about. If you like this video and you want to hear more about Iron Fist and more about Defenders or just Marvel in general, expect to hear a lot on this channel. And I hope you subscribe, and I hope you like this video. And please also leave some comments. I'd love to hear from you. All right, this is Marvel Matt, signing off from the Comic Time Show. Thank you very much for listening.